And we have some breaking news coming in. The Supreme Court has heard former Delhi Deputy CM Manish Sisodia's bail petition and has made some strong observations. The Supreme Court says the chain of evidence has not been fully established and that it's difficult to establish the chain of evidence, and that where competence of agencies comes in is what Supreme Court has said. They've also asked where the proof is except for the statement of the accused. I have my colleague Sunil joining us on the broadcast with more details. Sunil, take us through what the Supreme Court's observations were when it comes to the bail petition of Manish Sisodia.
Well, it's been hours since the Supreme Court has been hearing this bail plea. This is the second day. And in fact, today they have really spent from 10:30 this morning right up till this hour looking at the clock and saying and giving the Enforcement Directorate an opportunity to try to establish why bail should be denied to the former Deputy Chief Minister of Delhi, who's been accused in the excise policy scam, in the liquor policy scam, as it's now been commonly known. And it's in that context that the Supreme Court has made some strong observations, saying that really you haven't been able to establish the chain, and conceding that it's very difficult to establish that chain of linkage in terms of money, in terms of bribe giver and bribe taker. And it's in that context asking exactly the court to respond, the Enforcement Directorate to respond and say, and dependent on their competence. So the case still continues to be heard, and it's been a long hearing. After this, of course, Manish Sisodia's lawyer, Mr. Abhishek Singhvi, will be given an opportunity to counter those allegations once again and those points that are made by the Enforcement Directorate. But very pointed questions from Chief Justice, from the Supreme Court, from Justice Khanna and his counterpart to the Enforcement Directorate, as well as to the investigating officer, to examine, to explain where is the linkage, how have you been able to do it, and pointedly saying that they haven't been able to establish a real co-relationship between Mr. Manish Sisodia as well as and his linkage in the entire liquor policy case, and also pointing out that how can this be brought under money laundering, and saying if the accused number one hasn't been able to get and you haven't been able to establish, then the whole case falls flat, making very pointed questions in the Supreme Court.
Right. Sunil, now this of course comes at a time when Sanjay Singh's also been arrested, and again it is based on the statement of another accused. Does that now put the agencies in a tough spot in the case that they're building against the Aam Aadmi Party?
Well, that's something that we'll have to wait and watch, because it is purely based on evidence, whether they're able to establish any money linkage, what has been done in this police custody, what is the kind of trail that they have got. So it will be much dependent on what evidence the agencies have been able to get, and if so. But as of now, as you can see from the case hearing that is being done, this is a bail hearing in the Supreme Court. There are very pointed questions being asked by the Supreme Court to the ED counsel, as well as to the ED officers who are present, who are briefing their counsel, but yet unable to keep the Supreme Court and the bench satisfied on the grounds on which they have been able to go ahead and file these cases in the first place. So we'll have to wait. This is a bail hearing, and it's on that basis we'll have to see how things play out. But at this present moment, there are some strong observations that have come in.